You are the one who does not enter into any state, who has no mode or condition, who is never active, but who is ever formless being and unmodified, immutable consciousness. If there is a state, if there is activity, you are all that. But in your own essential nature, you have no state, you have no activity, no thought, no doing, no form. Whatever be the state of mind, you yourself appear as all of that. You yourself appear as the experiencer of that state. You appear as the state itself, and then again as if one within the state. This is true of waking, of dreaming, of deep sleep. When waking, when dreaming, when deep asleep, still you ever remain transcendent of all that. You are not that which appears in such states, nor are you actually the experiencer of such states, but you ever remain as pure being, as pure consciousness, which does not wake, which does not dream, which does not sleep. If your own nature is veiled to yourself, you sleep. If your own nature is veiled, plus you imagine, you dream, you wake. The waking one appears as the waking state. The dreaming one appears as the dreaming state. The sleeping one appears as the sleeping state. Once we feel we are in such states, in any of the modes of those states, such as the various mental modes that one is aware of in the waking state, once we feel we are in those, we naturally strive for liberation. And consider liberation a state beyond those modes. Then further, a state beyond these three states of waking, dreaming, and sleep. But actually, liberation is the very nature of your being. That being which is never in any other state, which has no state of its own, but just is existing, without change, without condition, and certainly without any limitation. When we inquire, according to the Maharshi's instruction, who am I? We cease to regard ourselves as having any of the attributes of those modes of mind. We cease to regard ourselves as being one who appears within those states, such as waking or dreaming. We cease to regard ourselves as even being an experiencer of such states, such as a waking experiencer, a dreaming experiencer, a sleeping experiencer. For what you are in your own nature is not an experiencer of anything. You are not the individual or ego, whether appearing heavily defined as a body with attributes, personality, and what have you, or more vaguely defined as one who passes through these states, experiencing various modes of mind. All of that pertains to the individual. But being is absolute. The self is no individual. This self, which is not an individual, is certainly not embodied, is who in truth, what in truth you are. It is delusion to imagine otherwise. To inquire, who am I, is to resolve or dissolve that delusion. As long as you consider yourself to be an individual, there will be some kind of state. And within that state, innumerable experiences corresponding to the quality of that state. But when you inquire and know yourself, and abandon the false sense of individuality, you find that you are never in any state. Inquiring, for whom is this experience? For whom is this state of mind? We find that we are not the individual, not the experiencer, for whom that state supposedly pertains. So then, while one may commence a practice feeling, I am in this state, a state of samsara, and aim for the state of liberation, or further still, I am waking and dreaming and sleeping, but I am aiming for a state sometimes called the fourth turiya. Really, the nature of that turiya or fourth is you yourself. And if you abandon the false supposition that you are an experiencer, an individualized being who has any of these things, you find that liberation is your own nature. That is, you are eternally free and have never been bound. You are always unembodied. You have never been born. You are always free from thought. You have never been conceived. Cease to misidentify, and in self-knowledge, just see what state is yours. If at any point this morning you have a question, or you wish to relate your own experience, feel free to ask or to speak.